Hello everybody and welcome back to another exciting episode of Chocobo Dash. I'm one of your hosts, Nell Celestine.
And I'm your other host, Elliot LaFave.
We'd like to welcome back to a slightly smaller show this week. It's not that big because, once again, we're in the patch lull. The live letter is happening soon, but not by the time that this episode airs, so any new information is going to be stuff that's found on the forums and is in general discussion right now.
Which also means that we kind of get to talk a little bit more about some of that feedback and our opinions on it. So let's dive right in, why don't we? As has been posted on the forums that in response to all of the many forms of feedback that people have been giving regarding the lockout feature, that adjustments are, quote, being made, and, all that feedback is being taken into account.
They mentioned specifically to make use of the ready check.
Yes. Now, go ahead. You go first.
One of the things that they're thinking of is having the withdrawal button, in case you, quote, accidentally hit it, is to give you confirmation on that. And quite frankly, I don't think that's really an option. That's just an extra click for something that's dumb. Yeah,
that seems like it's not, The big issue, as, we pointed out before, is that there's the group of people who, miss it or have an emergency withdraw, and then there are the groups of people who are fishing for partially completed runs. And there's no, I think, real good way to avoid catching the people who make the mistake if you're going to catch the people who are trying to fish.
Now, they did say that that's not guarantee of what they're going to do, but it is something that they're looking into. So if you have any better suggestions and ones that don't involve get rid of this completely, feel free to suggest them on the forums, because they are taking feedback on this. Because I personally think it's a good system that's been implemented. It just needs people to be more attentive and more aware of what they're doing and the people that they're with.
Agreed. And I think there are certain adjustments that I do think should be made, such as, the fact that you can kind of be penalized as an entire group if one member of you, like if you're queued up with 4 people and one of them fails to click, you can all kind of get penalized for it, despite the fact that the rest of you all clicked.
Yes, I can see and understand that one, and the other people should not be penalized for that.
But the point is, that's the adjustment that I think needs to be made. I don't think it really needs to be made much gentler, if at all, because, again, as we've discussed, if you're queuing up and, you keep missing it, maybe it's time to say, you know what, a roulette is not for me right now. This is not a time to go into a roulette, because apparently I keep missing the prompt.
True enough. But speaking of adjustments as well, they are taking feedback for adjustments to increase Dragoon's usability due to, well, for the lack of a better term, they have really fallen behind, especially with the implementation of Ninja.
And, I mean, on the one hand, a Dragoon is still going to, be equally geared, equally skilled Dragoon, I should say. But an equally geared, equally skilled Dragoon should still be, out-damaging reliably pretty much the range classes. They should be out-damaging Bard, because they have to stay in melee range, and that's kind of the trade-off that the game offers. You're stuck in melee, and you have fewer ranged options, but you manage to hand out higher damage. But they've always lagged a little bit behind an equally skilled and geared Monk, but they brought a little bit more utility, so it sort of balanced out. Ninja, though, offers even more DPS, and as a result, as a Dragoon, you kind of look at your numbers, and you look at the numbers of anyone else, and you look at how much damage you bring, and it's like, you still have really nice burst, but that's about all you have, and on a sustained fight, you just keep falling further and further behind.
Sorry, sustained fight is my category, not yours.
Hey, I main Ninja, not Dragoon. So, but I can understand, on the one hand, it's like, okay, it's good to have different melee DPS in different roles. That's an important thing. At the same time, if you have, one class that's notably worse, it's a little more tempting to say, well, do we really need somebody maining Dragoon, especially if you're working on progression content?
Yeah, I can see that and understand it. With the pool of DPS to choose from now, it does kind of hurt Dragoon in a sense, But that's why they're taking feedback. So
Yeah.
if you have any suggestions or ideas, take them to the forums. Don't start a new topic, though. Look for one that's already out there and contribute to it.
Bards are also...
I can't stress them.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I can't stress that enough. Making 500 topics on the same subject is not going to make your topic stand out. If anything, it'll make your point look dumber and, well, probably more likely to be passed over.
And probably more likely to fall off the front page and never be seen by the developers, so keep that in mind. Bards have also been a little bit upset about their own lower DPS with the inclusion of Ninja, but in that case, it seems to be more of a case of, remember, if you are playing a Bard, you have the advantage of ranged. No other Disciple of War has that advantage. You can go anywhere and still do damage. The Dragoon can't, go to the other side of the field and keep stabbing something.
Not to mention, Bard is primarily more of a support class as well.
Well, yeah, that's one of, as I was just saying, the ranged classes get, utility, they get you trade a little bit of, direct damage in favor of being able to stand at range and not get into the many, many, many dangerous things that stand over in melee range.
Speaking of many things over melees and pretty much everything else, it was actually Meteor's Survivor Day recently.
Yes, it was. I almost completely forgot it because I was in the middle of some role-playing, so I'm not sure what you did as a person on that day. I know in character I wasn't doing much of anything.
That would be November 11th, which is the same as Remembrance Day in Canada, and I think it's called Memorial Day in the States?
Veterans Day.
It's Veterans Day, sorry. But basically, for those of you who are not aware, November 1st, 2 years ago, is when they did the last save for version 1.0 of the game. And then the next 10 days was crazy shit happening, followed by the servers going down, which is when Dalamud struck. So that's Meteor's Survivor Day. So officially it's been over 2 years since 1.0 ended. Congratulations again to Yoshi and his team on a tremendous success there.
Yes.
Bravo.
But it's very interesting. Go ahead.
If you are a survivor, congratulations. If you're joining us afterwards, don't fear. Chances are we're going to have something just as bad happen in the next few months.
Yeah, Yoshi P does love, destroying things. He played the 1.0 and decided, I want to drop a moon on it. So I can't imagine that Heavensward is going to, start off with like a nice engraved invitation, like a party and anything. Something's going to go very, very unpleasant.
Dear adventurer, please come to the castle. I have baked a cake for you. Signed, Minfilia.
Oh no, Minfilia would never... That's how you'll know something's wrong. Minfilia wouldn't send you a note. Adventurer, please come. I've baked a cake. You take 10 steps. Adventurer, are you on your way? The cake is incredibly moist. Sort of like a demented version of GLaDOS. Oh, I'm sorry. It looks like Thancred already cut the cake. I told him not to, but he did it anyway. If you get here quickly, there might still be some cake left.
Oh boy. Somebody's got to fan art that now.
Oh boy.
Oh, I would love to see somebody fan art that.
And then,
now,
go ahead.
One thing I'm going to mention is I did look through the comments on the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a winner for Favorite Scion. Unfortunately, it was Ida.
Well, that's because Ida is the best.
Technically, she only had 2 votes.
That's still... The point is, Ida is the best. Ida is best Scion.
I still think it's Yestola.
Well, you're wrong. It's now been scientifically proven that you're wrong.
It's not scientifically proven.
Well, okay. All right, Nell. 1 for Ida. 2 for Ida. Would you like another recount, Nell? Well, I think I'll give 1 anyway. 1 for Ida. 2 for Ida.
Yestola got 1 vote, Papalimo got 1 vote, and then there was 1 vote for that guy.
Oh, that guy.
I don't know.
What, you don't remember that guy?
Yes.
He was adventuring with this guy?
But no, it was an interesting to see. There was a spread of opinions,
Yes.
but Ida did win, and so props to her. So I think I got a different question of the week this week. So why don't you go ahead and hit our next topic?
Well, the other major thing, and this is mostly, just a note. As we said, the live letter from the producer is coming up very soon. It's not happening yet, but it's going to be happening on November 29th. So if you have any questions, there is a thread on the official forum that you can take advantage of to post in there. It's going to be happening at 3 a.m. Pacific or 6 a.m. Eastern. And as usual, we'll probably be getting quick translations followed by a longer translation once we...
By quick translations, we hope the fan community will be able to translate for us. But,
sorry, I just had to deal with a cat.
Looks like there's not really that many topics that they are really looking to discuss. So it's the two topics that they have for questions are A Realm Reborn in its entirety and exploring patch 2.4, which has me wondering, are they holding an ace up their sleeve, or are they waiting until the next FanFest?
We do know that we are getting our next patch fairly soon. We're on Monday after the show is posted. We are getting patch 2.41, which probably will not have anything major in it, but we haven't heard anything about it. It might just be bug fixes. It might have a little bit of extra content. So we will find out then.
Here's hoping.
But
maybe we'll get something interesting on top of that as well.
Yes.
Including, like, the Fisher NPC that they're talking about adding.
And for all we know, the live letter is going to, reveal something. Knowing Yoshi P, I could definitely see him, trolling the entire community and releasing something major, like, and now all the details about Dark Knight.
Yeah, I don't think he'd do that.
I don't think
he's save something.
I don't think he's going
to. He needs to save
could.
something. He needs to save something for the build-up between once 2.5 comes out and the release. So they're probably going to give us all kinds of information between now and then.
Yes.
But between 2.4 and 2.5, I think we're not going to see that much information before the FanFest.
No, I would be very surprised if we did. My point was more that, I would not be surprised if Yoshida decided to kind of troll everyone. Not that I actually expect to see him reveal something that major. However, on a similar topic, I believe you have your discussion topic that you'd like to pose to the community.
Alright. This week's question, and you can see it in the background, is which grand company do you hail from and why? And we will read some of the most interesting answers.
Mm-hmm.
AKA all the Maelstrom ones.
Yep, because Maelstrom Pride. We might differ about, the best Scion. One of us is right and the other one is Nell. But we both agree that the best grand company is the Maelstrom.
Indeed. But seriously, tell us what grand company you hail from. Tell us why you picked that company, and we'll read some of the more interesting ones, regardless of which nation you're from. Because we all know that there's one right one and two ones that are wrong, but
we can still humor the rest of you guys. We can humor you, greedmongers over in the Flames or tree huggers over in the Adders.
Hey, at least the Flames are very, very active.
Yes, they are. And actually, I shouldn't say anything else because we sort of have 2.4 spoilers for people who haven't gotten through it.
I'm going to say this right now, people. 2.45 spoilers are officially considered over, and we can and will probably talk about the stuff that's happened in 2.4.
Yep. Until then, though...
Because by that point, it'll have been at least a month and a half.
Yep. Until then, mum's the word.
Alright, as always, you can leave any...
icicles.
Spoilers.
Fine. Spoiler warning. Shiva is made of ice.
Ow. As I was saying, as always, you can leave any positive or negative comments in the box below. Like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. You can follow us both on Twitter. I'm Mel Celestine.
And I'm Elliot_Lefebvre.
And if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please leave something in the box below. We love to hear from you. We love to hear whether you liked it, whether you didn't like it. Just general talking in the comments. We love it. I mean, seriously, it's one of two of the fastest ways to get in touch with us, Twitter being the other one.
And obviously
and
you
can
can't
stop
leave.
hiding behind the flower.
I'm not hiding behind the flower.
Yes, you are. Now you're not. And now you're dancing.
Go ahead.
As always, I'm Nell Celestine.
And I'm Elliot Lefebvre.
Bidding you
Adieu.
adieu.